CBS Sports HQ is built by the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden, former Louisiana running back Emery Hunt here in studio to talk winners and losers from Saturday. B-Mac, we'll start with you. Your biggest team winner was, let me guess, who? Ole Miss.
No.
Okay.
Not for this.
They did win
segment.
76-0.
But my biggest team winner, let's go down to Hot Atlanta. UGA just dominating Clemson from start to finish. Well, it wasn't from start to finish because we saw a slow first half, but the adjustments that Kirby Smart and his staff made in the second half was well documented, and they just ran the table. 34-3. This was Dabo's third worst loss in his coaching career. Unbelievable coaching career, that is. But they just were not a match for UGA. And remember, the score was 6-0.
It was.
At halftime. They put 34 on Clemson, a highly respectable program that plays tough defense, run the football well. It just was a more talented team. They executed better, so they're my biggest team winner from Saturday's slate of ball games.
Emery, who you got? Where are you taking us?
Taking you guys down to Nashville, man, because I have to say something. I have to admit something right here. Our colleague, Mackenzie Brooks, did a fantastic job on Friday talking about the model, Sportsline model, and said that Vanderbilt had a great chance of keeping this one under 13.5 against Virginia Tech. I was loud and wrong on the Columbia Broadcast Station's HQ network and said there was no way that Virginia Tech would lose a ball game to Vanderbilt or even keep it close.
Loud, proud, and wrong.
Loud, proud, and wrong.
You've been that way all weekend.
Stand strong, right? But this time, I'm going to say I was wrong about Vanderbilt and Mackenzie Brooks' Sportsline model, but that's why you should lock in the CBS Sports HQ. So my biggest team winner, Vanderbilt, because their over-under team wins this year was 2.5. They got one out the way, a big one, a team that a lot of people thought was a dark horse in the ACC. So I tipped my cap to Vanderbilt, anchored down, did a great job. Diego Pavia came over from New Mexico State and did a fantastic job in leading that football team, got the biggest upset I felt like of the weekend.
All right, there you go. Vanderbilt, good for them. Let's talk about your biggest winner as an individual, B-Mac. Who stood out to you?
It's hard for me to do this and say this and admit it, but I have to because I have to be unbiased here. Cam Ward.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Cam Ward was my biggest player winner. Why? He was one of the more coveted players in the transfer portal. Outstanding career at Washington State, but didn't win a lot. It wasn't because of him. It's just the lack of talent around him. He lived up to the billing today. 41-17 victory against Florida, 26-35, 385 yards, 3 touchdowns. And what I saw with Cam is that he instantly makes Miami a better team. Not just on the offensive side, but he really improves the defense as well because they believe they got a guy that can put them in positions to win ball games. And defensively, that does something to the morale, that boosts your energy. And we saw that with this Hurricane team for 4 quarters in Gainesville. Some people feel like this could be a potential trap game. Remember, Vegas had the line set at 3.5, depending on where you were shopping. It didn't even matter. Because of Cam Ward, this team looked legit today. He's my biggest player winner.
What do you think about him? Same path as Michael Penix Jr. Transfers over, was good at his last school. He was good at Washington State. Penix was injured at Indiana. He becomes a first-round pick. He leads them to a college football playoff. Could Cam Ward do the same thing for Miami?
No question. 2 different type quarterbacks, though. I think Penix was more of a natural thrower of the football. Cam Ward, I don't want to say he's more athletic, but he moves around a lot more than what Penix did collegiately. But they just find ways to put their players in positions to win ball games. And see, what we remember with Penix in Washington is the success, the winning games, big time points on the scoreboard. But remember, before Penix got there, Washington was a middle tier team at best in the Pac-12, right? Yep. And the same can be said for what Miami was doing before Cam got there. You know, a middle tier like team in the ACC. So to your point, I can see the same type trajectory for a guy like Cam Ward, similar to what Penix did, transferring over and just bringing a sense of relevance to a new program.
Sound like a top 10 team to me. What you got?
Who's your winner, individual? Who you got?
Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. It's Labor Day weekend. Labor means work. And you know who put in work? He did.
He did.
20 carries, 267 yards, 13.4 yards a carry, and 6 touchdowns against a very tough Sun Belt Conference team in Georgia Southern. And when you do something like this, a Boise State single game record. Think about the backs Boise State had in their career. And this dude, 5'8", 215 pounds. I said he's built stylistically like Emmitt Smith, but when you watch him run and look at the way these Boise State offensive linemen opened up some gaping holes, so you have a talented back paired with a very good offensive line. They dominated the point of attack, and this is why a lot of people feel like Boise State will represent the group of five in the postseason playoffs.
Guess what? He's on the board, Heisman board.
Oh,
plus
absolutely.
plus 7,500.
Ooh.
He ain't going to win, but to be on the board.
He need more nights like this.
To be on the board is impressive. That's respectable.
Right
to be
now, after
on the
a week
board.
of play.
Yep. That is. All right, now let's turn our attention to the team that disappointed you. B-Mac, your loser, week 1, Saturday. Full season is upon us. What do we got?
Biggest loser, week 1, Florida, the Gators. This was an opportunity to really jumpstart their season, a very, very difficult schedule. At home, playing against an in-state rival, not really knowing exactly what you're going to see from them, and the vice versa with Miami. And Florida just laid down 41-17. This game was over in the third quarter. Just think about the disappointment for Florida fans. The build-up for this ball game was highly anticipated. And then you come out in third quarter, you can go home because it's a wrap. And then we look at what Florida has moving forward. Losing today. Yeah, next week you got Samford. And then you have Texas A&M, Mississippi, UCF, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State. I don't know if I see 3 wins.
Becomes a situation for Billy Napier. Tough situation.
Over, under, set at 4. What are you taking? Over, under?
They'll be lucky to get 4 wins.
I don't see it. Like I said, that's why I think they're the biggest loser in college football, because if they could have won today's matchup or even made it a little closer, right?
Yeah.
Now you still have some momentum going into next week before you get to A&M. But the way they lost, I don't know if Billy Napier can keep this locker room together.
No.
And that was an issue a year ago.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And get this. That's one of the toughest places to play in all of college football, in the Swamp, in Gainesville. Cam Ward, probably with a little bit of braggadocio, which is fine because you went in there and you got to win. But he said that I played at USC, and USC wasn't packed, but it was louder than this.
Wow.
That's an indictment on the fan base, and what that tells me is the fans aren't that excited about this team, which they're not. The fans are there. The fans are there. Yeah, they got that big, long touchdown run. But what I'm telling you is, if the fans are not on board here, then that is not going to be a tough place to play, right? That's one of the calling cards. That's one of the toughest places to play in all of college football.
I'll tell you this much, guys, and Emery, let me know how you feel. When they get to Mississippi State, that game right there will be the telling sign for the rest of their schedule. Because Mississippi State is a team that's still trying to figure some pieces out, right? But you go there. You go to Stark Vegas. If you lose that ball game, you get UCF at home. Fans probably won't be there like we saw today. And UCF is a team full with speed. They got an experienced quarterback in KJ Jefferson, and they got a defense that will bite. So, like I said, if the over-under is set at 4 for the win total for Florida, I'm taking the under.
And people underestimate Mississippi State. Historically, even right now, they're built well on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Yeah. That's a fight for them. Literally, every team struggles against Mississippi State because of how they're built.
What if Urban Meyer went back to Florida?
Don't do that.
No, that's not happening.
Okay.
Steve Spurrier might go back before
Galen Hall might go back.
Some whispers. I'm just saying.
You know something we don't know?
He connected.
It just feels like something. I'm not saying I'm not reporting anything because there's nothing official here, but I'm just saying I'm asking the question.
I can tell you this
that could happen. Could that not happen?
Well, something
because a lot of Florida fans are upset when he left because they could have been an Alabama dynasty when you consider the program he had.
If something was to happen, we saw a coaching change in Gainesville, and because the expectations are super high. I think Billy should get more time, maybe another full year before the seat get hot. But in college football, they don't do that anymore. You got 3 years to really show, improve yourself. If something was to happen with coaching change, I think Florida should call Lane Kiffin.
Okay, that's interesting. We're gonna find out as this season progresses. Your biggest loser is who from Saturday?
It's a person. It's my guy, Big Ponchatoula, TJ Finley of Western Kentucky, and I expect a lot for him coming into this ball game because he went from Texas State, where he had a fantastic season last year, led the Bobcats to their first bowl victory and bowl appearance in program history, transferred to Western Kentucky, and I thought this was the perfect offense for him, showcased the big arm and the progress he made. But today against Alabama, they drove the ball against Alabama, but 2 of his interceptions came inside the red zone when they were threatening to score. And on the day, 18 of 31, 93 yards passing. 31 attempts for 93-yard passing, 2 interceptions, and got himself benched. So that's not a good sign to start the season if you're TJ Finley. Hopefully he could turn around and rectify what we saw today, but this was very, very ugly to look at on national television.